This is the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, with Keiss, Mino, and Mark, bringing you all your Devo news and talk. Welcome to Season 4, the LGBT era. Now let's start the show.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 113 of the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast. I am your host, Mark, and I'm so glad that you've joined us for another evening of Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia news and talk. Or if you're listening on the podcast or on YouTube or on Twitch Video Demand, wherever you are enjoying our discussion, I hope you're enjoying your last couple weeks in the LGBT era. Well, we've got, I was going to say we've got a lot to talk about tonight, but not really. We have a couple things to talk about tonight, and I am joined by my good friend and yours. His name is Keiss. Keiss, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay this week. I did not burn myself before the podcast tonight, so that is definitely a plus. Though the burns that I got last week are starting to peel, so I am experiencing some new pains, though nowhere near as severe as last week's. But again, definitely doing better.
Yes, the things we do for you as a community to put this show on is, it is tough. We come injured, ribs sticking out, after a tough day at work, burns, second, third, fourth degree. I don't know what any of that means. There's a lot that we put out on the line so that we can be here every Thursday night to give you all of your Dissidia-ness. Hey, we are not joined by Mino, still having some issues with the interwebs at his house and just taking a break from this week. But we are joined by our good friend, Aarolei. How are you doing, Aero?
Great. So I've been redoing a room that is upstairs, and it's almost done being like fully organized. I would like to buy a couple more shelves to fit everything, but it will be good enough to use this as of this weekend.
Very, very nice. We are, of course, recently moved in. We are in the third week of living in our new house. And, of course, when you move into a new house, you realize, of course, because all of you have moved into tons of new houses, I'm sure. Of course, my wife is just telling me there's 3 cop cars outside of the front of our house. I hope they're not dealing with me or my, if the police come and break this thing up, I just apologize right now. But, as you're unpacking and readjusting to new space, you figure out, we need a new table. We need a new, all this kind of stuff. So we're kind of doing the same thing. Where do we hang pictures, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not doing anything illegal. I just want to put that on record. So if they come for me, know that this is not not my fault. I'm innocent. I didn't do that. And if they can't find the body, wait, never mind. Hey, let's talk about the news of the day. Not the bodies hidden in the backyard in the woods. Hey, we have a daily token foray. 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 That now includes EX tokens. So you need to spend 30 tokens per EX token. So that's a lot. So you can decide. I think Aero was going to say, maybe we're going to talk about it later, but
I think this is a good place to talk about the daily token foray.
Yeah, so now that the daily token foray in the token shop, so if you're not familiar with the just expert language we're using, the big Cactar event that gives you tokens every day, this is now the LGBT era, and you can get EX tokens. So, Aero, what do you think? What do you think you're going to be spending your tokens on now that the shop has changed?
I've already accidentally somehow not done a co-op for a day, so I just told myself, you're getting 1 token and ingots. There you go. And that's it.
Keiss, do you have any initial plans for the EX shop or the Cactar shop, whatever it's called? Hey, Raw Life, thank you for extending your Tier 1 subscription.
I have not made a decision yet. the basic way it breaks down for those who have not figured it out is that if you save all of your tokens for the month, you can get 2 EEX tokens because you get 2 per day. There are 31 days in August, which means you can get 64 tokens. So you can afford 2 EX tokens if you spend them all on as many EX tokens as possible. And that saves you with enough to get, that leaves you 4 EX or 4 of the daily foray tokens, which is enough to get like 4 tickets or a couple other things. Yeah, that's not enough to get the ingots. So you have to choose between the ingots or the EX tokens, or you can split the difference and get the ingot. And can you get one of the EX tokens too? I haven't done the math enough to figure that out yet.
So an EX token is 30. And the nuggets are 2 per 1.
So it's 40 for a full ingot.
Correct.
Yes, you cannot get an EX token if you go for a full ingot.
Yeah.
So you have to choose. You can start building towards an EX weapon, or you can continue to get an ingot a month. It's really up to you guys what you value more. You can get an EX. You can start working towards an EX, or you can get the ingots to help build more EX plus weapons. So it's really where you are. Do you have a nice roster of EX weapons, and you really do not need the EX token fallback for future characters, or do you need the EX token reserve in case you're polling for characters and you don't want the risk of not hitting that EX going forward? Inkwelder in chat saying we're still in an ingot drought. We're kind of out of that ingot drought, but you can still feel it, especially now that we're in the challenge quest era. If you're trying to go for all the challenge quests going forward, you're going to find yourself 3-3ing a lot more characters because these are very challenging quests. And if you want to take a serious stab at them, you're going to find yourself 3-3ing more and more characters. So keep that in mind too.
I don't know how anyone in our circle is saying after our discussion this week in our private chat about with all our mods and all our team members about all the ridiculous amount of ingots and I think J.A, one of our mods who's a great guy, has like 17 purple characters. And here I'm sitting with 55 purple characters, I think. And I still got a few ingots, so I don't know. But you just buy them. Is Squex Joshua here? Just buy ingots. Just if you need them, you buy them. Get those. Like the worst case. Now, Ink makes a really good point. They like 17 or 19 or something, right? J.A that you have, and he's made do. So obviously I'm wasting my ingots like ridiculously. But I like purple things. Purple's one of my favorite colors. So, but yeah, I like the worst thing that could happen is you pity an LD and miss the EX on a new character. So, I think it's going to be tough to make those decisions, but it does. It depends on how you play and how reckless you are, and whether you're buying the good Mog Pass, because if you're buying the good Mog Pass, then every other month you'll have enough EX tokens for an EX. If you're not getting that, you may want to start stockpiling at least to have 10 in case the day comes. Now, if you've got Inkwelder, 1.5 million gems, and you're never using gems ever, then who cares? Of course you don't need EX tokens. You can just spend 150,000 gems on a banner and get both of them. Pity both of them, right? We come from a place of privilege. This is the Crystal Chronicles resource privileged podcast. So don't listen to any of us what we have to say. So no, do, because we're super smart. So
what I would suggest to everyone is look at where your resources are at the start of every month and make a decision on what you want, or save up your tokens. Don't spend them at the beginning of every month. Wait till the end and see where you are. Do you want the ingot? Do you want the EX tokens? And pick and choose.
Yeah, no, Inkwelder reminds us he's not at 1.5 million gems yet. That's Macnol that has 1.5 million gems. So, but yeah, they are lucky, and they also don't spend. So they are very investing wise players, which Mino hates.
I think where I am right now, considering I have such a backlog of EX weapons, I'm probably going to continue to go for the ingots.
Yeah, that's going to be me. I have a lot of EXs. I wish I could purple still. And then I also have those last couple of EXs coming out, like Maria and Palom that I want to purple as well. And Sid.
Yeah.
Sid's coming.
I'll be purpling Aarolei next week, so yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna need the ingots.
A pocket joker is saying you don't have to be rich to buy ingots. You just have to have poor money management skills. Well, I was speaking of fake resources like gems and tickets, not actual, that we are actually rich, although considering we are employed individuals, so we may have some more money than many of our listeners, so we do realize that, yes. But and we are lucky in this time, especially to all continue to have income. Many people do not, so. And that's why we're happy to support the game, because maybe you can't. And so we want to keep this game up and running. Hey, we also got early August Chocobo panel missions. Hey, thank you. Speaking of money, thank you, Raw Life, for that gift sub. Appreciate that. And a Pocket Joker.
And Pocket Jokers.
Thank you for the 1,000 biddies. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm Rich. Here's a sub. Yeah, and you wasted it on Mino. There you go. Wait, why the hell is Mino not subbed to us? Okay. Next time, give it to Joshua. Always give it to Joshua. We got to keep him, honest. So Macnell at thecityinfo.com, our good friend. Mino's not a fan. He's not sometimes. Does those panel missions, so check out that if you're looking to find where those things are. But generally, of course, you do the events, you do the co-ops, you do the LCs, you're going to get all the things without much of a problem. I think I'm just waiting on the 8 days to finish mine already, and it's only the 6th. So we also got Warrior Light's costume. That is his warrior costume from Final Fantasy 1. That's one I own. I like it. We also have Garland's costume, which is his one of his original designs. I also have that one. And we have Layle's costume, which is Tuxedo Layle. And for some god-awful reason, I also have that costume, too.
The heads up, it's not actually available yet.
No, it's not yet, but it will be.
About 45
with
minutes.
the Amidatelion event, you will have the option to get Leo's Tuxedo Leo. That comes from a part of the game where they are at a fancy dance. So there is a fancy dance part of the game, if you're not familiar with the Crystal Chronicles Crystal Bearer. And there is a fancy dance minigame, and I think Belle is part of that, Layle and Belle. So there you go, a little bit more. We're just going to sprinkle in Crystal Bearer lore tonight because we're all hyped for Amidatelion. We're all pulling on the banner because they are definitely one of our favorite characters in all Final Fantasy lore. So we just got to sprinkle in the Crystal Bearers lore tonight. So that is not just some random Layle in a tux. That is actually from the Fancy Dance scene. And I think that's the official name of the chapter, Fancy Dance. Don't quote me on that. So yeah, I don't know why I have all these dumb costumes, but I do buy the costumes. That's my show for the night. Keiss will tell you not
do not have to buy the costumes.
There you go. So that's we're fair and balanced.
I think you guys should all buy the Warrior of Light costume because that is the original true design, and you have to pay respect to that.
Yeah. Of the 3 costumes, definitely Warrior of Light costume is great. That's one I have equipped. I like the Garland one too. Actually, I have that one as well. But I mean, I have all 3 of them, but I have the Garland and the Warrior of Light equipped. I like both of them. But yeah, the Warrior of Light is one of the better costumes in the game. Completely different, very traditional Final Fantasy warrior skin. Yeah, just a great costume. So good job, Square. It goes Warrior of Light, Wintertime Aarolei, and I don't know who else. What's my other favorite costume? Somebody tell me. There's probably a couple. Cloudy Wolf, I like that costume. Oh, Tifa's costume from Advent Children. I really
love
like
Tifa's
that.
costume.
Yeah, it's a great costume.
I like the Ramza outfit because he doesn't. Yeah, he gets to wear the armor, and that to me is one of the iconic Ramza designs, not the Chapter 1 Ramza.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of Zidane's. I own that one, but Zidane's Pluto Knight costume, it's cute, but it's whatever. All right. Hey, any other costume conversation? This has been the costume section. The wardrobe. Oh man, Shaded Mystic. How could I forget? Renoa's party dress costume? definitely. That is classy. You got Renoa's party dress, you got Leo's tuxedo, and you got Kuja's fancy noble costume. That's your fancy party costumes. Yep. So.
You forgot the Squall CD.
No, I like the Seed uniform. I'd rather have, if I'm gonna have the Seed uniforms, I'd rather have Zell, Selfie, and Squall have all their uniforms, and Quistis would be kind of like the cherry on the sundae, if you're going to get there. Hey, thank you, Aarolei, for that additional gifted sub. So we appreciate everyone who gives us support here on Twitch, and however you support us, whether it's a like or a sub or a follow or all that. But the subs do actually help support us financially, so we do like that. Yeah. And we try to give back as much as we can, not just buy myself stuff like the poster that's hanging behind me. I don't know that the show paid for that. I have to go back and look. But yes, let's go from the news of the day to the event that we introduced you to last week, the raid event, charging power 128%. It's the Soul Cannon raid. Cloud Dress went. So we talked a little bit last week about the Chaos event where you have to fight the Soul Cannon. Of course, you've probably fought the Soul Cannon 100 times now because it was a raid event, and the more times you do it, the more points you get, the more stuff you get, the more swag you get. That is how it goes. So, a Pocket Joker, 5 gifted subs. Thank you. You guys are being so generous tonight. See, you just talk about subconsciously. You talk about money a little bit, and the wallet's open. No, but we do really appreciate it, everybody. And make sure to thank Raw Life and a Pocket Jokers if they gave you or gifted you a sub. So thank you all for that support. Yeah, so we did have a TCC challenge, so I'm going to go to the TCC challenge for the raid event, which banned, of course, all of the featured characters, Squall, Orin, Kate Sith, Tifa, Gilgamesh, Steiner, and in addition to that, we barred Garnet, Aphmau, Shirlada, Ragin, Galef, and Snow. And bans also applied to friend units. No Aarolei this time around. She was clear to use. The extreme version of that was called Yeet the Launchers. So we banned the synergy characters. You could not bring a friend, and you had to destroy at least 8 launchers. So 4 sets of launchers during the course of the fight. I just
want to say that my the way I wanted to call this fight. This extreme, I wanted to call it Launcher Annihilator, but Macnell came up with a better name.
Yes,
Yeet the Launchers is a better name.
Yeet the Launchers is a fun name. So, congratulations to all of those who finished the TCC Challenge and all those who finished the TCC Challenge Extreme. More people did the Extreme. You're all just glutton for punishment. I think I saw Aerolei's name on the list. I see Layle on the list. So, Arrow, what did you do for your TCC challenge?
I ran 2 different teams, and I know the team I posted had Zidane, Quistis, and who was the third? I think it was Hello. Yeah. See, it's pretty bad because I've been so busy with a lot of other things lately. I'm not really remembering all my teams I've run lately for stuff.
You can check out Arrow at Layle, Leilee, on YouTube. She has a lot of good runs. So if you check out a Penelo, Zidane, and Quistis run, that's pretty impressive if you've done this Soul Raid fight a few times. I went in with Squall, Orin, and Tifa. And Squall, Orin, and Kate Sith, so I really mixed it up a couple of times. But yes, congratulations to all of you. We will talk about the Garland LC Chaos TCC Challenge, which is still ongoing. So you can still submit all of your Garland LC TCC Challenge and TCC Challenge Extreme to DecidiaInfo.com. Just a reminder, if you want to participate in the TCC Challenge, and I will, of course, I have it on the screen right now if you're watching, and I will share this on YouTube, on I will share this on Twitter, on Facebook, and on our Discord, so everyone can congratulate those who have completed the challenge. And if you want to be participating in that, please go to decidiainfo.com. That's our friend Macnell runs that site, and submit your run there. All right. Well, yeah, let's spend a few minutes, if we can, talking about challenge quests. So now we've had 2 challenge quests. We'll talk about Garland here in a little bit. And we're going to have 3 as of tonight. So a couple of comments, I think, on challenge quests. And I'll come back to it maybe on Garland, but I like the challenge quest in one sense. I like it because I'm at the point where I have so many options because I've purpled so many darn characters that I kind of like to be limited in the characters to kind of, as Mino said, figure out the puzzle. Who can I bring? What do I need? Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you have all the gear, you can just kind of power through it. But sometimes you have to be a little bit more creative because the challenge quests don't always allow you the best synergy. And that really became apparent to me in the Garland DLC because Squall and Warrior of Light and Sephiroth, which were the only options. There's only 4 options in that fight. Garland, Squall, Warrior of Light, and Sephiroth. None of them really highlight Garland, unfortunately. And so I've gone back and used some different team comps, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But the good thing is I think it makes me, I generally do better with less options. So instead of having 55 options or 100 options, 125, how many ever characters we have, but, maybe 60 viable options. And trying to, develop. I know a lot of people, that's really fun, right? Give me 6 options and make me figure it out. I kind of enjoy that. The downside for me personally is it doesn't always, those teams that the devs have created for these events don't always highlight the main characters. And it would be nice if they did highlight the characters a little bit better. So, Keiss, any kind of, after a couple weeks, thoughts on challenge quests?
I will mention right now that I have not done the Garland challenge quest yet. I've actually been sitting on it this week. I'm waiting until Amidatelion event drops tonight because I'm planning to throw some tickets at it. My Garland ticket pulls didn't go great because I didn't end up getting Garland LD or Squall BT. Last week when I pulled on the Soul Cannon, I did get Squall LD. Going into the Garland event, I have Sephiroth 03, I have Warrior of Light 03, and I had Squall LD, and...
Oh, Keiss?
Did my audio go weird?
Yeah, it just cut out.
Sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're back.
Is it still weird?
Nope, you're back.
Sorry. Sorry about that. I was just saying that I have not done the Garland challenge quest because I'm sitting at a point where I have a decent chance of doing it okay, but I decided to wait and see how my ticket pulls for Amidatelion go, see if I can get a little boost on it with the burst. And we'll see how it goes, mostly because I found the Soul Cannon challenge obnoxious, partially because I had really bad luck with it. And Mark and Arrow, you heard my frustrations and my venting on the Discord. Out of my 10 or 12 attempts at the Soul Cannon challenge quest, running it with Gilgamesh in every attempt, I never got a single Deathclaw Paralyze proc. And after frustratingly venting, Macnell and I did go back and double check. Yes, the Soul Cannon is actually vulnerable to Paralyze. I was just that unlucky. And I did experiment with multiple team comps. I did eventually beat it with Squall, 03 Kate Sif, and Gilgamesh, and my Gilgamesh is fully built with summon boards and character boards and everything. It just took me a while to get the strategy down. And that kind of dissuaded me from going headlong into the challenge quest for Garland. Especially once I remembered how terrible and how evil the Colorless Queen is as a boss fight. So yeah, that's how it worked out for me. Those are my thoughts at the moment. It might change once I have once I get to fights where I have more options, let's say.
Yeah, definitely the first couple months of challenge quests are going to be the hardest. And then obviously Lufania takes over as the hardest content, and challenge quests become a little bit easier. Arrow, what's been your experience with challenge quests thus far? Yes, especially moving on characters you don't like Garland.
Yeah, I thought about trying for this quest because I do happen to have like enough characters, but it would mean purpling another character to maybe even make it possible. And I just started sitting there and I'm like, do I really want to purple somebody who I don't think I'll really use? And I don't know. It's fine. I think the challenge quests are good because it encourages you to pull and to purple and to play these characters you might not otherwise be touching. So I do like that. And I also think even though this particular challenge quest didn't have a lot of like, I guess, synergy between the units, I think it'll be a little better for a while going forward. Because like, what do we have next? It'll be the Toto event, I think. Yep. And then like Ulti's Lost Chapter. I just feel like maybe like, at least with like those characters, you just will have a better time. Yeah. And I think that's just going to be how it goes. It just depends on who the boosted characters will be. And I think just trying to play them as optimally as possible is a good thing because we're going to need to start respecting mechanics more and more. And that's definitely what challenge quests are going to teach us because we need that before we get into Lufania with those orbs and everything that you have to basically obey or die.
Yeah. Well, and maybe in the future we'll have some, support characters for challenge quests. Because... yeah, not a lot.
Yeah,
of
that's
those.
been a big problem. Keiss was our only support option for the Soul Cannon. Warrior Flights are only support option for this.
Yeah.
Deuce and Amidatelion are our only support options for this upcoming challenge quest.
Yeah, Amidatellion's not really support.
And unless I get lucky with my ticket pulls tonight, most likely I'm bringing Deuce to this. And it's going to be a 0.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
My only other complaint is that I guess like get used to using Alexander Summon if you need a guild because that's going to be something that's going to be very different feeling when we as we keep going through challenge quests. Is if there's no healer, your only options either Alexander or Spheres, and I wouldn't want to necessarily waste Spheres on characters I might not really like.
A pocket joker. I'm reading the jokes. I think they're very funny. I think you're on point tonight. Does Layle have auras? Yeah, Layle's got okay auras. Fully character boarded and fully purpled.
Yeah, you have to purple him.
He's not a healer. Excuse me, I had something go down the wrong pipe here.
Oh yeah, there's no healers for Amidatelion event.
Yeah, Deuce is not a healer, right? So
nope.
I'm gonna power through it with Squall, Garland, and Amidatelion. So I don't see what you people do. I'm going to make them dead with the most powerful characters possible. So I may not even bring Alexander. I don't think they're going to probably get a turn with those two. But yeah, if you don't want to pull, one or two of these may be a skip. And we'll talk about Garland here in a few minutes because we do have some, there's some good news and bad news scenarios, but there's not been big budget teams with these challenge quests so far. A little bit with the raid event. Definitely some. I use 03 Kate Sith. A lot of people just using EX only characters on that one. A little bit more challenging with the Garland event. So let's move to Garland's Lost Chapter, Cycle of Battle. This brings back the titular villain. Excuse, that did not go out well. The villain from Final Fantasy 1. His name is Garland, if you haven't played it. He's kind of a douche, and not Deuce, that's a different event. And he's also kind of the villain from Dissidia. So he comes back with a vengeance and gets an LD. So, Keiss, why don't you walk us through what Garland ended up with in his advanced age and his advanced mechanics?
So, Garland, just like Squall, did not get a rework with his return on his LC. He only got an LD and character boards. His LD is a substantial improvement to him, though. It brings him a lot of goodies. It brings him a lot of power. I want to make that clear. His LD is almost a pseudo rework. It brings him a lot of strength. It brings him a lot of things that helps him substantially. Keep that in mind. he still has some of his problems, but he works a lot better now. So, couple things to keep in mind. He has a better Brave plus and a better HP plus from just having his LD passive equipped. That's big thing. His LD ability is Bind of Chaos. When he uses it, it is like Round Edge, where it is an AoE Brave followed by a single target HP attack. It does splash damage. Big things it does. It gives him a new unique mechanic called Chains of Time that lasts 8 turns. It stacks every time he attacks an enemy, so it starts at 1, it builds up to 5, where it reduces enemy speed based on stacks. So this is a passive aura effect, and the big thing about it is that it is a stacking speed down aura. It goes up to 50% speed down on enemies. It is also an enemy speed down effect that can stack up to 30%. Keep that in mind. This can stack with other speed down and defense down effects, which is pretty big. Other things is that it also gives him 2 turns of his Soul of Conflict debuff, which allows him to delay enemy turns whenever he attacks them with brave attacks. Keep that in mind. And it also gives him 3 stacks of Soul of Chaos, so if he does this at the start of fights, he immediately goes up to 5 stacks of Soul of Chaos. So it's a good opener if you need to get him up to 5 stacks of Soul of Chaos. And the final big thing it gives him is a free ability use on his next turn. So he can get an extra additional ability, an extra skill 1, or an extra skill 2 out of it. Which means you want to set this up so that you can get another free skill 1 or skill 2 out of it as much as possible. This basically gives him 8 additional ability uses because he has 4 uses of his LD, plus 4 additional free ability uses following his LD. This helps a lot with the fact that he wasn't getting anything extra out of his EX, and helps his combat longevity substantially. Keep that in mind too. And that's really all he got from his EX, but it is huge. He has the massive speed down, defense down from Chains of Time. Remember, it only lasts 8 turns, so he needs to maintain it. He either needs to spread out his LD uses so he maintains it indefinitely. If it falls off, he has to build it back up when he reuses his LD, or he has to time it so he reactivates his LD to keep it up. Number 2, you want to make sure you time your LD so that you're not using your LD right when your EX is coming up, so you're not wasting EX time on a skill 1 or skill 2. Keep that in mind. And you're still getting your best use of Soul of Conflict on your skill 1s or skill 2s as much as possible. Because remember, you're getting Skull of 2 turns of Soul of Conflict from your LD no matter what. You don't have to worry about breaking someone. So just like with the EX, you get the 2 turns of the delay right afterwards. I think those are the big things with Garland. I do not have his... Well, I have his kit now, minus the LD, but I do not have his LD to play with. He's much stronger now. He has all of the strengths he had before. He's just better at it. He has the benefits of having a debuff aura that stacks with debuffers, so he works well with debuffers. He's just a monster at damage now. Arrow, do you have anything to add on?
I think he only has 2 frame buffs on him, so he's he's damage, neutral damage, so he's very easy to pair with a lot of characters. So you can go all damage and debuff heavy, and maybe not even need healers if you bring stuff like Quistis or Quistis or Amy coming up, or and then bring that enchanter and just go ham with damage and maybe beat them before they even really have much of a chance to do anything. Or you can maybe just lean on just buffing his damage completely with something like Charlotta, So I like damage dealers like this. Honestly, I'm going to say if he wasn't a villain, I'd be very, very tempted to build him because he seems very interesting and strong with the LD. So you can't really beat that defense down and speed down thing he has going on with that LD now.
Yeah, so I do have I have Garland. I have him fully kitted. I have his LD. I have his CX Plus. I have all the character boards. I don't even know if I have decent arts on him, but I have enough that make him work. Here, a couple things with him. So if you're taking him just as a base damage dealer, That's really not his role. He does a lot of damage. He's a melee damage dealer, yes, but he's a little bit more of a turn manipulation character. That's a little harder to play than some other turn manipulation characters. Squall is your base melee damage dealer. So if you're comparing like Garland's damage to Squall's damage, Squall is going to come out on top. Squall's a lot easier to manage from that respect. The problem with Garland is the Soul of Conflict is a little tough to manage. Now, he gets 2 turns of it every time he uses his EX or his LD, but the only other way to get it is to break to break a target with his skill 1 or skill 2, and then he only gets it, I think, for 1 turn.
He can also get 2 turns of it whenever he uses his additional abilities.
Yep, and he gets a couple of
demand from that.
He gets a couple with his AA as well, which does help. But that is how he delays a target, as Keiss already said. So he needs the Soul of Conflict buff to delay targets with any of his abilities, which is great. And he can also do that in launches. So if he has Soul of Conflict up while he's participating in a launch, he will also delay, which is awesome. So he does pair well with Keiss. He pairs well with Fujin, with those kind of characters. And they add delays as well. They both do some delay work. So he is nice with that. The stacking buff, Chains of Time, I think it's called. Yes. The over his head buff, that, unlike Squall's over his head LD buff. So if Squall loses his stacks, if he loses the special buff and then you use the LD again, he goes back to 3 stacks. Garland has to build the stacks back up if he loses it. So it's not that hard to build them back up, but it is kind of a pain, especially if you're late in the game and it runs out. He also only gets 8 turns of it per use, so you kind of have to keep that. So you kind of have to pay attention to use Garland a little bit. What I was saying earlier with the synergy, when all you have is melee damage dealers as his partners or Warrior of Light, who does provide some tanking and shielding, you're not really seeing him to his full potential because Garland has these invisible debuffs, namely the defense down and speed down, but 50% speed down and the ability to delay. So where Garland really shines is not only with auras to help him do more damage, but he really, really shines with characters like Quistis and Amidatelion, who are going to, Amidatelion has, we're going to talk about them in a little bit. Amidatelion has all kinds of frame debuffs. They're not great, but they stack with Garland's. Quistis has the turn rate down and the speed down buffs, which stack with Garland. Actually, characters like Kefka stack with Garland. If you have a huge debuff character who takes all the debuff slots, Garland's debuffs will still stack because they're invisible debuffs from his Chains of Time special ability, his LD ability. And so he really does shine. So I went into the chaos using your synergy team, Squall, Warrior of Light, we'll talk about that, and Garland, and really underwhelmed. I beat it, and it beat it fairly quickly. I went back with Quistis and Garland, they just tore the boss apart. Boss did not get a turn, wasn't even close to getting a turn, defeated it in a ridiculously low number of turns with some other I don't even remember who I brought as my third, some support character. Just ridiculous. So he really, really shines when you pair him, and I think he's really going to shine with Amidatelion. So looking forward to messing with the two of them. But as the Tonberry Troop says on their website, again, check out the infographics, beautiful new LD era infographics that the Tonberry Troop has done, tonberrytroop.com. But Inkwelder has some really good notes here. I think Inkwelder does those, but whoever does those, tell you, Dreamy, Ve Novus, Inkwelder. Really good notes, and one of the things they say, he does pair well with launchers, so play around. So if you really like the character, if you really like turn delay, speed down manipulation, he's a great pickup. If you already got Squall, and you're not really looking, for another kind of big character like that, and if you're looking at getting a Amidatelion, he's probably an easy skip. I just ended up ticketing him because I figured why not? I had a whole bunch of tickets, and wanted to see if he was really worth as good as Eamon told me he was. So Blame Eamon. No, I won't. But of course, Eamon was really hot on him when he came out originally. So I did not have him the first time, so I got all his stuff the second time, and I've enjoyed him so far. But yeah, really, really shines with another delayer and debuffer. It really does his job very well. But you have to pay attention. I think that's the difference. You get a character like Squall, you press buttons. You really not a lot of management. You can just kind of play through. You get a character like Garland, you really have to make sure that you're managing his buffs. Oh, I know who I brought. I brought Zaz. And Zaz is a great option because, of course, Garland doesn't have, as Arrow said, he only has 2 frame buffs, and the one isn't on all the time. And Zaz can increase with his buff increase. He can sustain Soul of Conflict an additional turn, which is super, super helpful, plus give Garland those generic buffs. So that was the team. Zaz, Quistis, and Garland. No healing, didn't need it, not at all, because they just destroyed the boss very, very easily. So
one thing I forgot to mention that is specific for Garland is that he is almost exclusively single target damage. Do not bring him to a fight where you need to do a lot of AoE damage. He is not going to help you much there. He can AoE turn delay groups of enemies between his LD ability and his skill 1 ability. Round Edge and Mind of Chaos will AoE turn delay, but that's not really his specialty. His specialty is doing a lot of single target damage, so keep that in mind. I forgot to mention that up front.
Yeah,
but I think that's... Did I forget anything else, Mark?
No, I was going to say Shuga is saying Garland, Zaz, and Lada is a really good team too as well. So with her 20% HP damage up, yeah, really. Well, that's from but yeah, really good combo there, and she does add some healing. So if you want to go on the healing route, but yeah, Zaz is a really good pairing for him as well. And of course, Zaz has character boards, and so that really helps. But yeah, no. I think he's a worthy character if you like the character. If you like the kind of shenanigans he gets up to, yeah. Infamous Element is saying the only thing you forgot, Keiss, is his new HP plus.
I mentioned that he had a new Brave and HP plus at the front end, but there wasn't anything else to say. Just that they're better. You can use them. There's nothing really notable about them. Yeah, they just have a lot more hits and more overflow.
Yeah, 4 hit for the Brave and 3 hit plus 150 overflow for the HP plus. 2 pluses.
I wanted to add one thing. If you're a Foresight kind of person, if you want Garland now, you might want to get him now because you're not getting another chance. I don't think it's been reran even in JP as of now. And they're like 8 months ahead of us in the game. Just saying, like, if you want him now, you might want to get him now.
Japan has never had a Garland rerun as of now. Yeah.
Yeah, Taz is bringing up a good point. So Garland has a HP plus, Brave plus on his character boards that are overridden by his LD HP plus and Brave plus. So you can remove the character board passives for HP plus and Brave plus. Because if you have the LD, his LD supersedes that. So I'm not. It seems like a bad design on Squex's part because he just got his character boards. But if you wanted to use him without his LD, the character boards would allow you to have a better HP plus and Brave plus. But if you have his LD, you can take those and save some CP, which is really nice there as well. All right. What is next? Oh, let's talk about the. Oh, Sephiroth. Sephiroth got his character boards, so if you have Sephiroth and like to use him, fully purpled, of course he already has EX, but he does have character boards. I don't necessarily think anything special to talk about, more Brave damage.
Just worth mentioning that if you're a huge fan of Sephiroth, you can character board him now, just makes him better.
And he's going to come back with an LDBT not too long in the future, so... you can just like Warrior of Light. Warrior of Light has already had his character boards, but Warrior of Light, good investment for the future as well. Looking at the Keiss, could you tell us what the podcast polls say? Because
sure, I can read them for you. 15 we're planning to skip this banner. 37 we're planning to tick it. 3 we're going to throw some gems at it. 5 we're going to pity the LD. So a few people were planning to go for Garland's LD, a few were going to throw some gems at it, and a large portion of the community was going to throw some tickets.
Yeah. Very good. Well, let's talk about the chaos discussion. So the cycle of battle, if you don't know how this works, every Lost chapter has a normal mode and a hard mode, and the last node in the hard mode is a chaos fight. If you beat that chaos fight, you do unlock the challenge quest, which we'll talk about in a minute. But this fight, if you go to DecidiaInfo.com, Macnell has a great overview of the fight, and of course you can go to the Call to Arms and see some team comps there. But this is a 2-wave chaos fight with magic-resistant foes. The last wave has a lot of horrible debuffs and that horrible status effect where it just pops random debuffs on you every single turn. The only debuff the enemies resist is a non-frame speed down in the last wave, but frame debuffs, auras, turn rate down still work. Turn limit is not nearly as strict as some of the recent fights, Trey, for example, so you can pace yourself and play more defensively if needed. So the first wave is 2 phantom males, and these are the male as in M-A-I-L, chainmail, plate mail, not as in they're boys, right? But yes, phantom males. They're big armor types. From the Noctis event, I think is the first time we fought characters like that. They are notable for putting on that passive or that buff where they become invisible and you don't know when they're going to attack next. So they can be a big pain in the butt and they can attack a whole bunch of characters all outright. But they're, in some sense, if you're bringing the synergy characters, this is a more challenging type fight than this wave than the second wave because you can just destroy the second wave. The second wave is the very annoying Colorless Queen, which comes back from the original Garland event. She does this Ruination field and Ruination Plus, which locks you out from summoning. So when the Ruination field is happening, you can't summon. And every turn that she gets, she throws random debuffs on you, which is super annoying. And they are not great debuffs. They are paralysis. They are defense down on all enemies. They are poison and attack down, and the attack down and the paralyze can really blow runs. So yeah, you don't want to do that. If you're bringing your synergy characters, Warrior of Light's really the only one that has the option to avoid the debuffs. So you're likely going to have some bad times with it. So she always starts the fight with a full recast bar and unleashes her Light of Doom, which is her recast ability, grants her a shield, and then starts the Ruination field. So if you want to summon, you either want to summon early before she does her all attack, or you have to wait for the first passing of Ruination field to go. Then you'll be able to summon again. But yeah, I would suggest saving your summon for this wave, because if she stays alive too long, it's a real pain in the butt. So kind of your best options for this, of course, are the characters that you have in... Hey, Taz, thank you for the subscription with Twitch Prime. But yeah, the delayers are really good. So launchers, delayers, Quistis, Garland are great delayers. Keiss, Fujin are good launchers. If you're bringing magic characters, you're going to need Enchant Imperil if you're just doing this generally. You can bring, if you're just going in regular, you can bring debuff evasion. Warrior of Light has that. Of course, Aphmau brings party debuff evasion. Lena brings debuff evasion. Those are good options for there. But yeah, bringing a tank. Snow is really good in this. Warrior of Light. Galif exceeds in this exceptionally well because I think a lot of the melee attacks are coming at you, especially with the armors. The Phantom Males really do a lot of... melee attacks, so Galif's really good here. So I can tell you that as friend units go, Quistis is a great friend unit. Eald'Narche can, like he always does, shut down parts of the fight, whether you need to shut down the Phantom Males because they do all attacks, and you don't generally want to get hit by those all attacks because it's kind of like a flurry of blows that randomly hits characters and can hurt you real bad. So Eald'Narche can do a lot. Of course, the Colorless Queen starts out with an all attack, so you can bring Eald'Narche in and just give yourself more time. Keiss is really good for your launching as a friend unit there as well. So, So just talking about the general chaos fight, I went in a couple different ways to try to. Of course, I did synergy. It's fine. We'll talk about that. But really, I found Zaz, Quistis, and Garland really just destroyed it. So some kind of theme around that delay, so you don't have to deal with Colorless Queen's crap is good. But you can really play it safe with a tank or a debuff evader. So, Keiss, have you done the regular chaos fight, and what did you use?
I did my standard brute force strat, which did work. It wasn't the smartest idea, but it did work. I went in with Garnet, Aphmau, and Snow. They did complete it, though it was a little bit of a nail biter because I did take a lot of the Colorless Queen's Light of Dooms, and I did take a lot of HP damage, and I did have to use a lot of healing. I had to use both of Snow's AAs. I had to use a lot of Aphmau's skill 2s. I had to have Garnet time a couple of times her EXs so that she would full heal immediately after the recast ability to get everyone back up and healed. So it required a little bit more finesse than I expected. But hey, it worked.
Aero, I know you didn't bring Garland, so who did you attack this chaos with?
I was like a cat playing with their prey before they eat it. I took Trey, Aerith, and Leon, and I beat it at exactly 110 turns and had pretty much nothing left to use against the boss. So it worked, though. I did not take any breaks in the battle, so I was able to make the score.
Yeah, and that's why we have Aero on, because, you probably didn't bring Leon, but she did and got it done, so...
Well, I had Eald'Narche friend, in case you guys are wondering what the friend unit was. And I just kind of used him at the beginning of the second round and just kind of let him terror walk and do his thing. So, I used literally everything I had and threw the kitchen sink at it with my really stupid team, and it somehow worked.
Eald'Narche friend is still super, super, super powerful. So, hey, let's go back to TCC Challenge before we get to the challenge quest. It's very confusing, Square. I don't know why you did that to us. But the TCC Challenge for this event is up. You can check that out at decidiainfo.com, but I'm going to share it here as well. So the cycle of battle, I have not announced winners for this, so you still have time to submit. We have banned the synergy characters, which is Warrior of Light, Garland, Sephiroth, and Squall, Quistis, Leo, Keiss, Garnet, Eald'Narche, Kefka, Arciela, and Aphmau, and the bans also apply to friends. Aarolei is allowed. So that's the regular challenge. The X-TREME challenge, and we brought on Ricky. Last week we talked about Ricky Shu, one of our TCC Challenge veterans. We've brought him onto our team, and so we're going to blame him for this. I think Macnol, Keiss, and Ricky came up with this X-TREME challenge, which is a colorless team. So you can only bring white and black crystal characters to enter the fight, and the same ban list, and no friend, and Chocobo or Spirit Moogle. So the same ban list that I read before, no friend unit, you have to bring Chocobo or Spirit Moogle, and you can only bring white and black crystals. People have actually beaten this, so it's not impossible. Yep. It's ridiculous, but it's not impossible. So, Sam, thank you for the subscription.
There's already 13 completes in the list.
There's already 13 completes in the list? Wow. Ricky's here saying it's not hard enough. Oh, you people, God, you're getting too good. Apparently it's not that challenging if we already have 13 clears. We'll share all those next week, but that is the challenge. Look forward to another ridiculous challenge coming up here in a little bit. So that does bring us to the challenge quest. Now, this challenge quest is going to be one of the more limiting challenge quests because you only get to bring the 4 characters, the 3 characters on the banner, which is Garland, Warrior of Light, Sephiroth, and the burst character, which is Squall. Remember, burst characters cross over at least 3 events. So every burst character will cover 3 events or half a month. So Squall is good for the raid event, Garland event, and Amidatelion. And then it's going to be the next burst character, which is a surprise. We didn't hear what it was. It's Shantoto. She'll be for the next 3 events as well. So very limited roster. Now, that being said, I've not seen any. Now, if you're in chat and you can show me differently, in my looking for not only the call to arms but looking online, I have not seen any clears without Warrior of Light. So Warrior of Light definitely comes in clutch. He's the only one really providing auras. I don't think Sephiroth, Garland, or Squall, except for Squall's overflow aura, which of course Garland and Sephiroth do not benefit from almost at all. The 3 of them do not provide any auras to each other, even though they have really nice potencies. So Warrior of Light's your only aura. He's your only healer. He's your only tank, obviously. And so every single run that I've seen for the challenge quest has involved Warrior of Light. I'm not sure that I've seen a Warrior of Light run with him 0 out of 3. Perhaps with Squall and Garland fully kitted, but most runs I have seen with Warrior of Light, regardless of who else you're bringing, have had him 3/3 and fully character boarded, maybe some decent arts. I tell you, mine is decent arts, but not perfect arts. The nice thing about investing in Warrior of Light, spending the character board points and putting him 3/3 if you can, is that he does come back with his LD and BT. So it's not like an investment that you're going to use for this fight and never see again. He definitely does come in clutch. Okay, so CSAM saying, okay, we have Virgil 0/3, but I had Garland and Squall full kitted. CSAM saying my Warrior of Lights 1/3. CSAM, yeah, okay. So there's several people who are saying yes, you can use Warrior of Light 0 out of 3, but I have LDBT Squall, I have LD Garland, right? I have seen at least 2 non-LDBT runs. So our friend Jin Lee did a Squall, Sephiroth, Warrior of Light, all EX plus, no LD run. And the sensational Ian did a Squall, Sephiroth, and Squall, Garland, and Warrior of Light, all 3/3 EX. So it is possible to do without
the
LD.
Most quote-unquote budget run I can find in the call to arms list, and I'm using the budget in very heavy quotations because it's the least number of ingots used, but it still has an LDBT in it. It's Squall LDBT, Warrior of Light 0/3, and Sephiroth 0/3 by Liz Lizette.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Liz Lizette's a great player.
It's the least number of ingots, but it's still a Squall LDBT.
Yeah, it looks like just from chat, there are several people who used Warrior of Light 0 out of 3, maybe even Garland or Sephiroth 0 out of 3, but had Squall, BT, LD. And that BT really, I mean, that adds 6 extra free turns, right? And a lot of extra damage. So don't take that for granted. So if you do have Squall, LD, BT, you can probably scoot by without a lot of investment. But I do think Warrior of Light is a good investment. He's a good character. He's going to come back several times. So as kind of the main protagonist of the game. I mean, he's really not just the main protagonist of Final Fantasy 1. He is the main protagonist of Dissidia. So you're going to see him. So he's a good investment. Sephiroth, maybe a little less, but he does come back with an LDBT. Garland, as Arrow said, doesn't come back for a while. So I assume maybe I'm the only one that's beaten that. I used Squall, Garland, Warrior of Light fully kitted. It was pretty ridiculous. It was not a challenging quest with those 3 fully kitted, so if you have them, not a problem. All right. Other comments on that, Arrow? Anything else about the challenge quest?
Not at all.
All right. Well, as of 4 minutes ago, we have a new event, Amidatelion. So I'm going to head it to Keiss so I can go blow my nose and get this gunk out of my face, whatever's going on with me. So Keiss, tell us about Amidatelion and what they do.
Sure. So Amidatelion is an interesting character because they're mostly an offensive character. Their skills mostly deal damage. They don't really bring a lot of supporting buffs. They don't bring a lot of auras. They do bring a lot of debuffs. But they bring some gravity shave. Their big gimmick, however, is that they delete turns. They do not delay turns. They delete turns, which is a new mechanic. On their second skill, Mega Flare, their unique mechanic is that they will remove the target's next turn, as in the target's next turn is just removed from the turn counter. This does not change what the target's next action will be. It'll still continue to be whatever it would have been. It just removes that action and makes it so that the following action will become their next action. Beyond that, their first skill is called Cometh. It's a single target Brave plus HP attack that deals splash damage. Their second skill, Mega Flare, is an AoE Brave plus HP attack. As I said, it has the turn deletion in it. Their EX ability is Ultima. It's an AoE Brave plus HP attack. It deals full damage and also gives them Brave back based on the HP damage dealt. A couple things to note is that both Skill 1 and Skill 2 have unique frame debuffs associated with them. Skill 1 gives a turn rate down frame debuff that is also unique to Amidatelion. It has Tribe of Wisdom attached to it, so it will stack with other turn rate down debuffs. Mega Flare has a defense down and speed down that are unique to Amidatelion. They both have the Tribe of Wisdom indicator on them. So keep that in mind. Amidatelion has a unique buff to their self, that gives them attack and max brave one on it, and also party brave regen and a small int brave boost. So again, not a lot of bonuses to party stats. They also give some attack. Their big bonuses to party stats come from their LD ability, Crystal Idol, which, when used, is a gravity shave to all enemies, sets their brave to 0, batteries the party based on 80% of Amidatelyon's max brave, deals HP damage, AoE HP damage to all targets, deletes all enemies next turn, and then gives Amidatelion 1 stack of a unique buff called Resurrection, which raises parties int brave based on stacks. And then gives them brave regen based on that stack, and then also increases parties overflow based on stacks up to 3 stacks max. Obviously, since Amidatelion can only gain stacks based on this LD, you have to manage it very carefully. And also, Amidatelion gets an int brave down debuff applied to targets based on this. So you have to maintain the LD buff very carefully so that you don't let it fall off. You reapply the LD buff as it's getting close to falling off so that you maintain it as long as possible while also getting full effectiveness out of it. Other things to keep in mind with Amidatelion is that they don't really provide a lot of attack bonuses or max brave bonuses to the party. All of it is tied to brave regen and int brave bonuses and some party overflow bonuses. That's it. Amidatelion also has brave plus plus and HP plus plus. These are gravity based brave shaves, so not brave hits, just gravity based brave shave based on percentage current brave. Keep that in mind. So they won't deal any brave damage based on attack. Their skills will deal brave damage based on attack, and they are magic attackers, but their brave and HP pluses are not based on attack, so keep that in mind. Also, their HP plus will battery allies based on HP damage dealt afterwards, so keep that in mind too. Final thing to keep in mind is additional ability is an ability recovery thing that also applies a party brave regen after use. So similar to other characters with the ability recovery, use it when you need that nice boost brave regen. You can benefit from the skill ability recovery. Otherwise, I think that is everything for Amidatelion. Powerful character, turn deletion is another form of turn delay. Nuances for the turn deletion to keep in mind. Turn deletion correlates strongly with its effectiveness correlates strongly with how fast the target is. If the target is fast, it will be less effective than other forms of delay. And what I mean is, if an enemy is super fast, it's going to take multiple turns back to back. Deleting one turn isn't really going to do as much as delaying that enemy's turn multiple turns. So keep that in mind. Or just applying a speed down debuff would. Since Amidatelion does all those things, applies a speed down, a turn rate down, and deletes turns, theoretically they're doing a very good job of doing everything you need. So keep that in mind. They might do everything you need in a full package. Their primary support options are to debuff and to provide a lot of party battery through their regen services. I think those are the big things. They're a very strong friend unit option, especially because you can bring them in. You can get 5 turns of turn deletion, get that party brave regen going, get some very strong brave shave through their gravity shave going. So keep that in mind. They are very strong. Definitely not necessarily a bad choice to draw on. Just do not bring them expecting a lot of the strong support functions that other characters have had recently, where you're getting a lot of the attack and max brave bonuses. You're going to have to supplement them with characters like Saz or Arciela or Aphmau to bring that for your party. I think that's everything. Let me pass this over to Aero now to get her thoughts.
I think they are a very good character. They're just not my style because I tend to want to fight the boss head on. I don't actually like the idea of keeping the boss from taking actions too much unless like it's just like a crazy fight like Trey's where it's kind of like they expect you to cheese it to some degree or, well, die. But because of that, it's not for me. But I understand as a friend unit, this is going to be really powerful to have to give yourself breathing room in a fight or even in your own party. Those debuffs, they're disruptive. Honestly, you know, it keeps the boss from being able to add too many buffs. So there will be fights where that's really useful. It's just, I don't know what I would do personally if I got them, what kind of team I'd build for them with my current roster is kind of what it comes down to as well. But yeah, I can see why they're hyped because people really enjoy, you know, being able to brute force bosses. And this is like one of the ultimate characters to help you do that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Hey, want to do a shout out to our friend Rez Foyna. Rez, check her out on Discord, well, she does have her own Discord, but on YouTube and Twitch. Rez, you can go to tccpodcast.com and check out all of our swag. But yes, so thank you for the raid. Thank you for the sub. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow Rez. I love her videos. She's going to be doing a pull battle with our good friend Jin Lee. So wish her all the best luck. So she has been beaten by Jin Lee 3 times in a row, I believe, on the pull battle. So we just need to send Rez some good vibes for her victory tonight. Yes, she is 0-3 versus Jin Lee. This is your night. This is your time to shine. So look forward to those wonderful pull battles. I always love Rez and Jin's pull battles. I've been on one myself. And so, yes, make sure that you check that out. I'm sure it will be out sometime tomorrow on YouTube. when you can watch this as well. So after you're done listening to the show, if you're listening tomorrow, make sure you check out Resfoina, RESPHOINA on YouTube and on Twitch, and you'll check out that. So thank you, Rez. Thank you for the raid, and hope you had a good stream tonight, and good luck. And Jin Lee, we hope you both get it in one multi, right? Our good friend Jin, who did our wonderful backgrounds, we love him as well. Check him out on YouTube as well. Not on Twitch, but he is on YouTube, and he has some great how-to videos and some great pull battle videos as well. So you can watch it twice on Jin and on Rez's channel. So support all of our friends. This is a wonderful community that we're part of, so we just love to share each other's spotlight. Yeah, Amidatelion, I guess I'll jump in and talk about Amidatelion and what they do, but it's so funny because, we're talking about Squall, what does Squall do? Squall does melee damage. He does AoE damage. He does enable other people to do more splash damage, which is really cool. Him and Arciela, great synergy. Garland, what's he do? Well, he does melee damage, single target damage. He does some really cool delay and speed down. But again, fairly simple, not too complex. What's Amidatelion do? Massive AoE damage. Party auras, gravity attacks, frame debuffs, 4 frame debuffs. They're not the best debuffs in the world, but there are 4 of them, and they do stack with non-framed, and they do stack with Garland's invisible framed, etc. Oh, and they also delete turns, and they are the only character in the game, even in Japan, that has the ability to just delete an enemy phase. So, yeah, they're super, super powerful, and there's a reason this character, who none of us know, except for maybe one person, because none of you have played this game, right? There's a reason everyone is pulling on this banner, because they're really good. Arguably, maybe a better friend unit than a party member, but still really good in a party. Ultimisha does turn deletion with her burst weapon? All right, I'll take that at your word. I guess I don't know about it, but it's been a while since, that's not coming for a while. Let me see. Ultimisha is coming back with a LD, but she doesn't get her BT until much later. Anyway, for quite some time, Amidatelion is the only one who's going to be deleting a turn, and if you bring them as a friend unit, 5 turns of turn deletion. It's super awesome. Yeah, so, if I have Amidatellion's LD, do I need the EX for the challenge quest or just as a friend unit? Interesting. The characters are designed for their full kits. She does a little bit, she does depend on her EX realization. If you're bringing her as a friend unit, she could do her job with just her LD and her skill 2, I guess. So I guess her 35 and her LD would be most important, but obviously she'll do it a heck of a lot better and do a ton more damage if you have her fully kitted. But maybe, we'll see about some challenge quests. Haven't done this yet. We haven't even started this event. I haven't even pulled on this banner, but we'll see if there's some, what would you call it? Budget runs with maybe LD only or anything else. But yeah, this is going to
mention that most new event characters going forward, you will need their full kit to see them function properly. Amidatelion is not going to be an exception to that. If you do not have their 15 CP, 35 CP, EX, and LD, you're going to feel that something is missing. In Amidatellion's case, if you are missing their EX weapon, you're going to feel that something is missing. I do not know exactly what that is off the top of my head. Let me go to Dissidia DB and check to see what exactly is missing with Amidatelion if you do not have their EX. One thing I know off the top of my head that is going to be missing is that you will be missing startup. You will be missing them starting with their passive Yuke's Hope active immediately. They won't start each wave with their debuffs from skill 1, skill 2 active. They will not have access to their stronger variants of their Brave++ and HP++. They will not have some of their passives for their max brave and attack for just having their EX. They will have weaker weapon stats. So keep that in mind. they will be missing some things, and it will be noticeable.
So, great question from a name, again, just because of the color, I'm having trouble reading it. Baron Elbow. I'm having somebody can help me with that.
Baron
Anyway,
Elbow.
yeah, the question is, so I pulled Ami's LD and 20 tickets. What's the strategy? Buy another Mog Pass and get their EX? More tickets? That's a good argument for EX. You have these new characters. If you get their LD first, what do? You need both of, if you want to use them, you really need both their gifts. Now, if you want to just use LD and see if you can get through the challenge quest and go on with your life because you don't really care about the character, then go on with your life. Especially if you have Squall LDBT, you'll probably be okay. But if you really want to use the character, and they are fairly powerful, yeah, then you either need to invest or you need to be able to wait till next month and pick up her EX. I really think the EX tokens are being underrated a little bit because this is a terrible scenario, right? If you luck into the LD of a new character or a character whose EX you don't have, much nicer to be able to pick it up in the EX token shop than to have to keep chasing it. Because, right, the worst case scenario right now for Bear is to have to pity the EX. Now, likely that wouldn't happen as EXs drop fairly quickly, but it could, right? And so that's kind of the nightmare scenario. I got the LD in one, I got the LD on the free pull and then I had to pity the BT. Oh, that's just me. You shouldn't do that in the first place. But, Keiss, any thoughts on that?
The drop rate on EXs is higher than LDs. Mathematically, probabilistically, your chance of getting the EX is higher. It's still not high. It depends on how much you want Amidatelion.
Yeah.
Like, are you willing to sit on that LD weapon and not use it? Or do you really want to find the full kit? And what are your resources like? There's a lot of variables in this equation, and just saying I pulled the LD in some number of tickets, what do I do now, is very open-ended.
Yeah, I mean, for my personal advice, if I was saying, because I never go into a banner just recklessly, so if I was going into a banner, I would say 200-300 tickets. If I'm not real invested in the character, but I'm hoping for it. So if I got the LD and 20 tickets, I'd keep pulling to 200-300 tickets and then walk away if I didn't get the EX, and then move on with my life. But if I did one multi-pull, maybe that will happen and I get the LD, I'm going to keep using gems until I get the EX, or I pity it, because that's what I'm doing. That's not hypothetical. I am willing to pity. Hopefully I won't have to do a double pity. That would be terrible. But who the hell knows with my luck, right?
5DPZ, Mark did know he was going into that banner ready to pity Squall BT.
Yeah, no, that wasn't reckless, 5D. That was planned, and you did the same thing. So, that was not a reckless, that was maybe a reckless use of my resources, but that was not an unplanned. I don't just, I'm going to throw random tickets at it. I was willing to spend 120,000 gems because of the free pull for the weapon. So, that's not reckless. That's planning. And, you and I both, in terms of 5D, we have plenty of resources to do that. A lot of our listeners certainly don't have those resources and might want to plan a little bit more carefully when they're planning to pull. But I mean, if the only reason you're pulling for the character is because everyone is hyping the character, you're at the point where you don't need Amidatelion to do anything, right? They're super strong, powerful, and if you really like turn manipulation, like I do, I love turn manipulation. That's why I pulled for Garland. That's why Quistis is one of my favorites anyway. I love turn. I know Ink loves turn manipulation debuffers as well. So I'm interested in actually using the character. But at this point, yeah, I've got 55 purple characters. I've got how many? We're already at like 15 characters with character boards. Tons of powerful characters, and I'm going to keep pulling, especially during this early challenge era, because I want those burst tokens. I want to get all the events. So, you're not going to run out of powerful characters coming up. If you need more magic, hey, there's 2 magic bursts coming out. If you need some turn shenanigans, Noctis is coming out. If you need super strong characters, Arden's coming out. If you need a really strong multi-use support character, Desh is coming out. Yeah, there's just tons of characters. So, if you're only pulling That is reckless. Yeah, no, I'm pitying. I'm using gems. Using tons of gems at this point. There's no reason not to. What am I saving for? I'm saving for this era. That's why I've saved what I've saved to pull as much as possible on this era. Yeah. So make the decision that works best for you, right? None of us can tell you in one sense what Amidatilion's worth because we haven't used her. We'll come back next week and tell you if they're worth it or not, in our opinion. So you can always wait. But yeah, I would say if you spend 20 tickets, spend 100, spend 200, spend 300 if you have them, and see where you go. Or like I said,
it's a value judgment that you need to make.
Try the challenge quest with just the LD, and then go back on the banner if you need to. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. Keiss do we need to say anything about Deuce? She gets character boards. Layle already had his character board.
If for some reason you're a fan of Deuce and you really want a character boarder, you can now.
She's got a flute, so that's something. And she's got one of the, annoying mechanics where you lose her buff if you get broken. So that's awful, especially with guaranteed breaks.
Mark, they took that away when
nice.
She got her EX. They took away where you don't, when you get broke, if you get broken, you don't lose the note buff anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't lose it.
I have her EX and I haven't realized, but obviously I haven't played with her very much. Yeah.
I gotta say she's amazing for magic attackers even now, but it's unfortunate she herself doesn't really do great damage. But hey, one day she will probably get another rework and another upgrade. She's guaranteed to get that LD eventually, and I'm sure she'll be wonderful when that happens. But hey, if she's your favorite now and you want a character boarder now, hey, nothing wrong with that. I've character boarded Furion, so who am I to tell you not to go for your faves?
Yeah, I'm gonna even though I have Deuce, I'm just going to surpass using a support on this particular fight. And I think I'll probably be okay. Yeah, so Keiss, podcast polls, what are people I without even looking at it, I'm going to guess quite a few people are going to pity this banner. Well, what does our community say?
Sure. So 9 people were planning to skip this banner. 33 were planning to ticket it, including myself. 6 were planning to throw some gems at it. 30 were going to pity the LD. And 3, including our own Tonberry troops to loot, were planning to pity Squall's LD or BT on this. Sorry.
Yeah, so hopefully, some of you who are chasing Squall's BT, the smart move was to go up to a pity of the LD or just get the LD from the LD event and then come back to this banner and keep pulling and hopefully get it on this banner. So that's the smart move. Even smarter move to not worry about it if you don't get it. Obviously, Squall, you can check out on our YouTube, the Crystal Chronicles YouTube channel. You can watch my pull video. And the crushing disappointment. No, I wasn't disappointed at all, but I did end up pitying Squall's BT, even though I got the LD on the free pull, and then 3 additional copies of the LD, so I didn't even have to waste Power Stone. See, you got to find is the glass half empty or half full? Well, I got Squall, and I got to use him through all these events, and for a lot of fun. And now he's my auto-farming king, and my favorite character anyway, so I'm not unhappy at all. The Chaos and Challenge Quest we will talk about next week. I know that these bosses in particular can delete your turns, right? That's one of the things they do. They can remove character turns, something like that. The glass is full of Power Stones back. No, I have more Power Stones than I've ever had. Figure 26 multis does that to you, especially when you have most of the EX weapons, except I didn't have Steiner. Yeah, they can delay turns. So they delay turns, and you delete their turns, and you delay their turns, and it's just it's a crazy fight. So good luck. Amidatelion, Layle, Deuce, Garland, and Squall are synergy for this event. So with the new character events, not only do you get the BT, but you also get the LC. So so the raid events are going to have 6 or 7 characters. The LDs are going to have 4 characters, and the events are going to have 5 characters. So a little kind of wonky in terms of your choices. But again, they feel like not everybody's going to get the new character, so I think that helps a lot as well. So good luck. Good luck on all your polls. Let us know. Come in our Discord. We have a channel for RNG and polls and all that. Let us know. You can let us know on YouTube, on the comments, how you did. I hope you did well. I hope you didn't have to pity. I hope you got both in 100 tickets, and you can go on your way and tell us how you like Amidatelion and share a favorite story from the Crystal Bearers. We all know it's your favorite game, and that's why you're playing. You pull for favorites, right? So share your favorite Amidatelion moment. Yeah, I like that when she died and then she resurrected and she was genderless. That was great. Good conversation. So, hey, Keiss, I think we have some time for some host discussion. Is there any questions?
We'll cover some questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I do not remember if we covered this one last week, so probably not. Drobman asks us 2 questions, one fun, one serious. First question is, now that off-banner weapons are gone, what was your most hated off-banner to get because of how much it showed up? Drobman's example is Ash 15 because it was everywhere.
Choco
I'll start with
Blade.
one. Mark says Choco Blade. For me, probably. Oh, this is a tough one. I think King 15 always showed up for me as a very common off banner 15. It was always showing up for me, especially early on in the game.
Our friend Rasfoina, who was here earlier and is doing a pull battle as we speak with Jen, I know her luck off banner always brought Seymour 15s. So I've watched a lot of res pull videos where that's Seymour off banner and she hates Seymour, so it's a little funny. Arrow, who's your off banner nemesis?
Terra, actually. I have had so many horror stories with Terra 15s popping up in tickets off banner, gym pools off banner. I hate every time I see that pretty green sword with the little yellow on it. Oh, it just drives me nuts. It made me not even want to play her, because it showed up so much.
Yeah, Halcyon's here, yeah. All right, what's the serious question? Yeah, 5 BP.
Serious question is, say you luck sack a BT early and reach your allotted amount of tickets you wanted to spend and no LD. Do you keep going with tickets or go to gems for LD or walk away with a pointless BT?
That's tough.
That's a tough thing. I've allotted for myself, at least for the first couple of 2-week synergy LD characters, a large number of tickets for those banners.
Yeah.
Like for Squall, Shantado, Vaughn, Noctis, I've allotted about 300 tickets for each of those banners specifically. So it's gonna sting for me to walk away without an LD for any of them. I'm telling you right now, I'm done with tickets for the Squall LD banners. I'm not getting his BT. I just finished my Amidatelion things while we were doing that talk. No Squall BT for me. So I'm walking away without the BT, I can tell you that. I'm fine walking away without BTs. LD for the 2 week synergy is going to sting, though. That's going to be a harder thing for me to walk away from. I'm going to see how my Shantado polls go next week, and I'll let you know how much easier it'll be for me to do that. Arrow?
If I got the LD and tickets, I'd be thinking, can I afford gym pools for it? Because at least you can guarantee you'll have the full kit then, most likely by the end of it. Unless you're somehow missing the EX too. But yeah, I'd probably go to gyms if I could. Personally, I'm planning at least some tickets for every protagonist LD that has 2 weeks synergy, because I feel like lucky sacking those is pretty good and they're pretty much worth your investment. Otherwise, yeah, there's only one BT I would personally pity for, and I think everybody knows what it is. So do I really got to say that's kind of my opinion now?
Emperor?
Yes, Emperor? Obviously. Yes. I'll be waiting 8 months from now. I'm going to pick him over Celis.
I'll wear my shirt in honor of your BT pity. I have an additional BT that I have to pity now, unfortunately. So right now only 2, so that's nice. But yeah, there might be more. Yeah, my plan is the same as Arrow and Keiss, which is also Inkwelder's plan. He kind of encouraged me to do the same thing, which is 300 tickets. He might be spending more, but my plan is 300 tickets on every protagonist or villain burst weapon BTLD banner. So I'm going to do 300 tickets on Shantoto. Now, I don't have Shantoto's EX or LD or BT. I don't have Vaughn's EX, BT, or LD. So, yeah, I could spend 300 tickets and end up with an LD with no EX, with an BT with no LD or B. So, I mean, it might be a challenge for me. But my plan right now is to do 300. Yeah, it's the new 300 ticket challenge. Yeah, yay. A little bit more intense than the 13 ticket challenge. But when I used to carry 100 tickets in reserve as opposed to 2,000, 13 was a lot bigger of a number than it is right now. So 13 ticket challenge doesn't even get me to the next event without capping. So yeah, my plan is to do 300 tickets on each of the, inflation is tough, right? On each of the protagonist and antagonists BTLD banners, and yeah, hope for the best. And if I miss out and have to miss some challenge quests at the end of the day, that's fine. I'm not gonna just. There's so many banners that I'm throwing gems at. I mean, if I was only throwing gems at maybe one banner a month, then I might be willing to go back with gems to get Shantoto's LD or get Bond's LD. But I am gemming like 2+ banners a month for the next 6 months. So yeah, I can't be reckless in that regard to do that. So, is the reason to do that, the reason to throw the gems on all of the protagonist and antagonist or the LDBT banners is because the LDBT characters have synergy, yes, for 3 events. So again, you're talking to a group of veterans. You're talking to a group of people who have been playing for 2.5 years. You're talking to a group of people generally with a ridiculous amount of reserve resources because we've been saving resources. So to help us clear all the content, and you're talking to content creators right now who, we want to clear the content for you to get a sense of what you need and what to do, even though we have a wonderful community who can help with that. So it's not the end of the world if we don't. But, if you get that LDBT or even that LD, really that's what you're chasing with 300 tickets. You're chasing the LD, not the BT. That's a character that has synergy for 3 events, probably a powerful character, and you're going to have that for the future. So, yeah. Yeah. Evil Kong is asking a similar question. Hey guys, my friend just came back and he got the Ami's LD but no EX. What should he do? Again, if he wants to use Amidatelion, it depends. Was he using tickets? How many tickets did he use? Keep using tickets. Does he really want Amidatelion? Start using multi-pulls with gems. Is their roster really limited and Amidatellion's really going to help out? It really depends. But yes, if you want to use Amidatelion, yeah, you want the whole kit. You want all weapons, which is 15, 35, EX, and LD. That's tough, and it's going to be real tough when we get new characters with burst weapons, specifically Arden. Arden's going to need 15, 35, EX, LD, and burst. And if you get, now he doesn't really need his burst, but why wouldn't you want it? He's a monster with all those weapons. So, so he just came back. So, yeah, Amidatellion's going to be a great pickup for him, probably. This is not a terrible banner. So, I would go back in depending on how much they have and how much they've used, but don't go back in with gems unless you have 75,000 to pity. That's my, set a ticket limit. How many tickets am I willing to invest before I walk away? Or be willing to invest 75,000 gems. I mean, that's really at the end of the day. And if you miss out, there's other characters coming, right? There's every character. I mean, every single week. It's not going to be like, oh, Shantoto's not that good. Oh, Von. People were crapping on Squall, but he's really good. Like he made these 3 challenge quests a joke, right? That's pretty worth it in my opinion. He's a favorite character of mine. And they're going to keep getting
another
better.
Challenge quest he's synergy for in 2
and
weeks.
Yeah,
too.
and he's going to be synergy on Ultimecia, so that's 4 quests. So yeah. But you have to decide. This era is going to be really, for me, it comes down to what are the characters that I like. what are the characters that I'm interested in, and I'm always interested in new characters generally, especially new characters who have interesting mechanics. For me, Desh, he's really powerful, but his mechanics aren't as interesting. He kind of does a lot of stuff that a lot of other people do. He does it all in one package, which is awesome. That's why he's so good. But he doesn't do enough that's different for me to really care, and I don't care about the character. There are other people that do, obviously. But Amidatelion, very unique, interesting character. Really excited to see what they're all about. And then, yeah, shiny burst weapons. Who doesn't want those? But yeah, there's tons of characters coming out that, are favorites of mine, and they get all LDs because I like a lot of protagonists. So I'm going to be pitying a lot of LDs and hopefully get a few bursts along the way. Yeah, next question. What do we got?
Mick Dole asks, the long-awaited Moogle Pass trivializes the summon board grind. With this enormous quality of life active, are you more inclined to invest in characters that you normally would pass because of the summon board grind? My answer is no. The summon board grind never held me back from investing in characters that I would have passed before. Passing on characters was always a resource issue, not a summon board grind issue. I'm not going to lie. I have summon board grinded characters that I sat on the bench were not even fully invested before, just because they were 2x XP, and I had spare time before. So I have characters that are either 0 out of 3 or EX only that are fully boarded, just because they were synergy at the time. So no, the summon board grind was never the limiting factor for me.
Yeah, it never was a limiting factor for me either. But I will say, because of the Moogle Pass, I'm more tempted to maybe go back and master everybody, even if I don't have gear for them, because now it's like, 2 runs and you're done? That's pretty good. So, I mean, when they get ×2 or when we get super boosted stuff again with the next summon grind, which is Odin? Yeah, I might go back and have some fun mastering up some characters that I wouldn't have touched otherwise.
Yeah, I think I did Trey and Garland in less than 30 minutes. Complete mastery of both of them. I mean, they did them together, obviously. Yeah, which is ridiculous. Yeah, I've always done mastering of boards, and I've always mastered a lot of characters. I have a lot of masteries, so if I've had the time, I think Alexander was probably the one I had the least amount of time to do just because of life changes and busyness. But, I've always found a little bit of time, in the morning or at night during that. Most days, when there's not stuff going on in the game, I might play 15 minutes a day and that's it. So, summon boards give me an hour to play every day, and that's fine with me usually. So, yeah.
Okay. That was quick. Mr. Nepp asks, do you have your 10-team lineup set up in a specific way? For example, Mr. Nepp mentions, my team 1 is Team OG, the default team starts with, and I never mess with it. Team 2 to 6 is summon board teams. Team 7, Dimensions End. Team 8 is my auto farmer. Team 9 to 10 is current events. I guess I'll start. Team 1 is my Trash Wave team, so it has twins plus whoever I'm using for trash waves at the time. Sometimes it's Rydia, sometimes it's other random characters. Team 2 is usually my summon board grinding team, so whoever I'm using for summon board grinds. Teams 3 and 4 are usually whoever I'm using for boss fight stuff, so lost chapters, events at the time, whether it's being co-op grinds or chaos events. 5 and 6 might end up being Dimensions End stuff, and then 7 through 10 end up being whenever there's a summon, an ultimate event, and there's super boosted super synergy stuff going on. Those teams are set aside for when I'm just setting up multiple teams to quickly run through a 3x 15-minute book, so I don't have to quickly swap out characters. I'm just swapping teams quickly to save time on the 15-minute book.
Predator 501 says Team 1 cater solo. That's funny. Arrow, this is new to me. This is fun. Arrow, do you have an obsessive team order? Because this is new territory for me.
Not really. I haven't in a long time. The only one that's kind of stayed the same is my farming team, which is Team 10. every other team, I just I swap around whenever I need to. I don't know. I don't really use too many of the same teams too often. I like to change it up a lot.
Yeah, my team 1 is my auto farm team, which had been Yuna, Karen, and Furion. I think it's going to be Yuna, Squall, and Furion moving forward. Might find another one a little bit better setup for that, but I think that setup's fine. Dark Knight Cecil's good on that as well. My team 2 is usually co-op, so whoever needs to be in co-op, and then it's just random from there, whatever I decide to use recklessly. There's a lot of conversation about if you need the LD, if you need the EX. Yeah, I think we've said this before, but characters are designed for their full kit. So any new character that's coming out is designed to work optimally. That's not the word. Why can't I say that word? Optimally. There we go. They're designed to work with 15, 35, EX, fully realized, and LD. Burst is kind of a nice addition. And obviously they're tuned to the burst, but you can work without the burst. They are really designed around their LDs currently. Any new character that gets an LD, they're designed. That doesn't mean you can't use a character EX+. That doesn't mean you can't use a character 0 out of 3 in Chaos, in Cosmos, or even in a challenge quest. We've said Warrior of Light, Sephiroth, if you have certain other characters. But if you're looking to use a character, if you're looking to invest in a character, I've seen this all over social media. I saw Squall, Warrior of Light, and Garland beat the challenge quest. I tried it and I can't beat it. Well, what are you using? Well, LD only Squall, no character boards, no summon boards, Garland EX+, just realized, and Warrior of Light, no EX. Well, obviously, you're not going to do it. They're designed to be at full strength. And so if the more you invest in the character, the easier the fights are, the more room you have for failure. Now, if you are an expert level player, you're more likely to get on these budgets. But, I know we have some of our friends love to do budget runs of Entropy. I got 55 purple characters. I don't need to do budget runs of Entropy. I got full three characters on every tier. Who cares? I got enough characters for all 20 tiers. Why cripple yourself? Do the TCC challenge if you want to cripple yourself. But on normal game content, especially challenge quests, I'm not going to cripple myself if I don't have to. I'm not going to give myself a handicap. If I don't have to. So if you want, this is my advice. If you want to use the character, go all in. Invest in all of their gear, invest in their character boards, do all of their summon boards, and ideally get at least one ideal artifact, 3 ideal artifacts. It doesn't have to be both sets, but if they're a damage dealer, 3 attack 108s. Generally 3 attack 108s for everybody's a pretty good thing. If they're an aura character, 3 C52 stars, right? But yeah, you don't have to get perfect artifacts. But yeah, summon boards make a huge difference. We got 8 summon boards. Character boards make a huge difference. Now with the Mog Pass, you get extra summon board character boards. Excuse me, training boards. Sorry, Mino. Training boards. So yeah, you're making life harder for yourself. Now, some of you will enjoy that, and more power to you. It's your game. Play however you want. But I hear what concerns me is the new players coming along saying, how can I get by with this? How can I get by with that? It's not designed for you to get by with that. Unless you're an expert. Now, some people might be able to come in and you're just an expert gamer. You're going to get it. It's going to be easy for you. Most of you are going to have to learn how to play the game. And even among the thousands of players that we know, there's just a handful of people that are kind of expert tier players who can really get by with a little. What do you do with dupe LDs? Fuse them, save power stones. That's really all you can do. I don't think you get anything besides power stones for selling them. So yeah, that's my rant. Sorry. got to make up for Mino not being here. Are there any other questions, Keiss, or were we still answering a question? I don't remember.
Let's do one more question, and then I think we're good for tonight.
Right.
Stray Bead asks, are any of the hosts planning to complete all or most challenge quests going forward? And if so, if you have an almost viable team, how far would you be willing to invest resources into them to get that complete?
Yeah.
I guess I'll start.
Please.
I'm still on the fence on exactly how hard I'm going to go into challenge quests. For example, I'm probably going to go back and tackle the Garland challenge quest probably tomorrow, because I got to go to bed pretty much right after this, because I got to get up super early in the morning tomorrow. Since I have all the characters built for it, they're just not fully invested, and I'm going to be investing ingots and training points into Warrior of Light to make that much easier than it has to be, or make it easier than it is right now for me. I'll leave Sephiroth at 0-3 for now and see how that works out for me. So that means that as of right now, I've invested a substantial number of training points into one Squall and the Soul Cannon raid, and ingots into Squall, and then again here into Warrior of Light, training points and ingots into characters, both as a short-term and long-term investment in order to complete not just these challenge quests, but also future challenge quests, with the assumption that they will be useful multiple times going forward. I'm trying to make sure that I plan these with the assumption that these characters will be useful in multiple events and not just one-off times. With that in mind, I'm probably not going to be doing the Amidatelion challenge quest, because I can't think of any investments I will be making here that I have not already made that will make this doable. I do not have Layle's EX. I pulled on this banner. I did not get Amidatellion's LD. I have a 0-3 Deuce, which means I don't really have a useful team to really tackle the challenge quest, so I'll probably be skipping it altogether.
Aero, what are your challenge quest plans?
If I don't really care for the characters on the banner and they're not built up, I don't know if I'd build them for just one event. Like, I feel like it's a little different for like the Garland event, because like all three of those characters have been, or will have at least been in 2 events, and 2 of them we know with Foresight are going to have 2 weeks synergy eventually.
Garland will theoretically have 2 weeks synergy
with Garland eventually too. So right, and so when you think about it, like, it's a little different for that one, but this one, I really only see like Layle being the one to pay off. So I guess if I really needed a 3-3 Layle, I know that he's coming back, for example, even without Foresight, when Kieran Lost Chapter returns, because he was boosted there. So I don't know. Maybe it had to be something like that. Like, oh, am I okay with this character? Do I have the resources? Like, you know, based on all the other things I know I'm going to want in the future. And then on top of that, I don't really care about like stuff like blooms. I'll spend blooms like nobody's business. So little things like armor tokens and blooms, yeah, sure, whatever, if that's what it takes to win. And I think there was somebody who said they bought blooms for somebody in the cannon raid, and that made the difference. So sometimes just start from like the simplest thing. Oh, maybe if I just book their armor, that will be enough because they'll get more stats. Or maybe I should just bloom them because giving them more uses of their AA or empowering the AA could be the difference between a win and a loss. So, and then you go on from there. Do I want to upgrade my weapons? Do I need to do character boards? And obviously, don't even worry about summon guard. Just do that anyway if you're planning to use them for the challenge quest. That's just a time investment that's not even that bad anymore. So that's probably how I do it. I just think about it and tried like the simplest and then keep going up if I'm still willing to invest higher.
My plan is to try every challenge quest. GRW18 does remind us that, remember, even if you don't have synergy, you can still do the challenge quests and get the simple rewards. And Infamous Element is reminding us that you can complete them multiple times. So it's just basically a chaos, and technically they're usually a little bit easier than the regular chaos. Might not be noticeable depending on the particular fight, but they are tuned a little bit to the fact that you can't bring whoever you want. So you can still do it to get some of the rewards, but you won't get that burst token unless you do it full synergy, get that perfect. But I'm going to try He's Macnell saying you can't do it. It does require perfect, but you can still get the rewards. I'm going to try every challenge quest, and if I have to miss one or two, fine. I'm also buying the premium Moogle Pass to make up for any that I miss. So I'm not going to lose sleep over it, that's for sure. And hopefully, as I pull for Amidatelion tonight, I'm going to get like 6 Squall BT, so I'll have some extra. Now I won't get any, but so I'll have some extra BTs around, to sell. But that's my plan. So hey, thank you all first of all for listening tonight in our banter. Looking ahead, we have Dimensions End Entropy Tier 14. Guess what? You can use all your melee characters on that one. We'll talk about that next week.
Squall's probably going for me.
Yeah, Squall's going there. Orin's going there. Garland might go. Quistis might go there. I have so many options. Who knows? Heretic event, the Veiled Magician. Who might that be? Shantono, spoilers. Ultimisha on the 16th. Remember, she does not get her BT at this time. She will get it later. She gets her LD. And Desh's event, Ancient Memories, Pajama Memories. It's Ancient Memories because he's wearing pajamas because he just got out of bed. And Squeck's community stream will be the Monday afterwards, and they'll tell us all about Van's BT. And who's next after Van? It's Noctis? Yeah, Noctis. So, Squall, Toto, Von, Noctis, Arden. There you go. All right. Hey, well, learn more about us, tccpodcast.com. Thank you all for watching. Join our Discord. You can like us on Facebook, Twitter. All of you who have supported us, Raw Life, A Pocket Joker. There was someone else, right, who gave some cheers and stuff. Resfoina given some love today with a raid and a sub. Thank you all for your support. We appreciate it. J.A, I would love to stream my polls. I can't stream my polls because my computer is still in Texas. We're having a motherboard and a screen replaced, my brand new computer. I can't do that because this can barely do what I'm doing right now. And I have 2 computers to barely do what I'm doing right now. So I would love to stream my polls, but I'll do it on the post show. So at least you can hear what they are. What else? Join our Discord. Tomberry Troop, our friends. TomberryTroop.com. Check out all their good stuff. DecidiaInfo.com. That's my friend Macnell. Check out all that good stuff. And if you want to do TCC Challenge, that is the place to go. Thank you to our co-hosts, myself, Keiss, Mino. Thank you to Aaro. Aaro, how can we get a hold of you and anything that you want to talk about before we go?
Nothing especially special to talk about, but I do have my YouTube at Layle, which is Leilee. And also, of course, I am findable, searchable on the TCC Podcast Discord. So, yes, if you need me, ping me there. I will answer as soon as I'm able. Yes, that's it.
So check out Aaro on YouTube, Inkwelder on YouTube. J.A is one of our wonderful mods. Jin Lee on YouTube. Macnell, of course, Call to Arms. Quetz, who runs Materiabot and support Quetz. He does good stuff. And Strafe is on YouTube as well. Those are our mods. Thank you, Dreamy, for the intro video from Tomberry Troop. Jin Lee did all of our backgrounds. Hey 13 does our intro narration. And Ryan is the Bomb 203 on YouTube. Did our beautiful Squall burst intro music. Thank you to Black Nero Nero on YouTube, Black Cloud in our Discord, and Shara, collaborators and friends. I got to add Ricky to this, the TCC Challenge Guru. Ricky's been helping us out, and of course, thank you to my co-founder Pierre for all the work he's done. So this has been episode 113 of the Crystal Chronicles. If you're bored in COVID reality, go back and listen to the under 112, or go watch me pity Squall's BT on YouTube. Until next time, this has been Aaro, Keiss, and Mark wishing you all the best of luck on your goldenrod pulls. Hopefully you don't have to pity or pity twice, and you'll walk away with a great delete turn and go ham. And we'll see you next week. Until then, hey, good luck. Goodbye.